If you like coffee, then you're probably aware that Colombia is known for having world-famous coffee. Well, besides coffee, Colombians are also well known for their friendliness and their ability to put each other first. When looking at other cultures, we can learn valuable lessons on how to treat others. It is easy to think that the American style and way of life is the best, but when looking at other cultures like the Colombian culture, we can learn some incredible perspectives and values on life. I had a Spanish teacher in my senior year of high school named Senora Sills, who was from Colombia, and she liked to teach the class about the Colombian culture. Her love for the country made me want to learn more about it. First, I'll provide you with an overview of Colombia, then I'll talk about some key elements in their communication, philosophy, and style. Colombia is a unique country with a special spirit. On the Australian-based website Cultural Atlas, researchers, editors, and members of the Australian community have gathered research since 2016 with the aim to inform and educate the public in cross-cultural attitudes, practices, norms, behaviors, and communications. Author Nina Evason introduces us to Colombia. Colombia is in South America and it shares a border with Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Panama, and Brazil. The culture is a blend of Spanish, African, and native influences. Spanish is the most common language, even though there are still about 80 native languages that exist. The Colombian people are very proud of their country and especially proud of its national soccer or football team. There is something called the Colombian spirit, or the joie de vivre, which means enjoyment for life. Colombians are positive, charismatic, and cheerful. They like to make a party out of any situation. Even in hard times, they focus on looking on the bright side. They believe in working hard in order to play hard. They tend not to linger on negative aspects. In an article written in 2006 called Cultural Perceptions of Equivocation and Directness 2, of Replication and Extension of the Dimensional Hypothesis, the authors Bello, Ragsdale, and Brandew Brown from Sam Houston State University discuss how Colombia is considered collectivist in nature as opposed to countries like the US, who believes in individualism. Colombians are very helpful and, for example, they will shop at the same store because of an established relationship with the shop owner. They have more of a team spirit as opposed to just wanting to achieve personal success. The authors say that this collectivism can be expected to influence the Colombian patterns of communication. Now that you have an overall idea of what Colombia is like, I would like to now talk about some of their values which shape Colombians, which shows their great spirit. Colombians have a unique value system that affects their communication. In the article Intercultural Communication Between Colombian and American Teachers in Colombian Institutions, author Georgia Costales shares his experience in working in Colombia. For 25 years, he worked at 2 private bilingual schools and at a university, and he has many insights into the culture's communication. In his article written in 2009, Costales quotes anthropologist E.T. Hall saying, quote, "Communication is not only the cultural influenced words, actions, postures, gestures, tones of voice, and expressions, but communication is framed by the speaker's culturally bound values, such as the way the communicator handles time, space, and materials, and the way he works, plays, makes love, and defends himself." End quote. In other words, cultural values can influence how people communicate. Colombians value harmony and will make sacrifices to maintain relationships. As a result, it is a high-context culture. Even though what is spoken is important, how and where it is said can give more meaning to the words. For example, in the article Palabras, Phrases, 30 Words, Idioms, and Expressions You'll Only Hear in Medellin and Antioquia, the author Matt Dances, who works with language trainers in Colombia for 1.5 years, says that in most Spanish-speaking countries, the word aburrido means bored. But in Colombia, it means bored, upset, annoyed, or angry. So the meaning depends on the circumstance. Colombians also use an indirect form of communication. Instead of saying no, they'll say, "I'll think about it," in order to not disappoint the other person. They would rather avoid confrontation and discussions. Colombians will agree to disagree and will not outright give an opinion if it upsets the other person. This is a contrast to Americans who like being more direct and value complete honesty at all costs. These values are reflected in some of the ways that Colombians communicate. Colombians use rituals and style when communicating out loud and through nonverbal ways, as explained further by Evason. Colombians use a lot of rituals when speaking. For example, Costales says that it is a lengthy process just to say hello to a friend. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué más? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué hay de nueve? Are all ways of saying, what's up? Colombians use them all often in the same exchange. Evason goes on to saying that Colombians have a lot of style when they communicate. The Cultural Atlas website says that Colombians talk loudly and energetically and are very expressive and open about their emotions. Colombians aren't afraid to enter into topics that are considered delicate in American culture. They may ask about your age, weight, or salary. There are also different words used to communicate formally. It is polite to address people in the formal you, known as usted, for anyone of higher status. They want to show respect. The informal you or tu is used between people who know each other very well and for young people. This will be a familiar way of addressing each other. Colombians have some nonverbal ways of communicating as well. Colombians are very affectionate people. They may touch your arm or put an arm around your shoulder during a conversation. Colombians also expect you to have direct eye contact. Avoiding eye contact gives the impression of guilt or dislike in their opinion. Communicating with others is obviously an important value in treating others with respect and putting others first. In conclusion, thank you for giving these interesting ideas about the communication in Colombia your attention. Today we looked at an overview of Colombia, their unique value system, and their communication style and rituals. Colombians thrive in a culture filled with kindness towards each other. They are a collective community that values harmony, relationships, over personal success. It gives us Americans something to think about. Do we truly value people like the Colombians? I have learned that there are some really positive lessons to learn about the people of Colombia. Thank you.